Good afternoon, everybody, and welcome back for another Torah story. If you remember what happened last time, Moshe and Aaron came to Paro, and they said, Paro, if you do not let the Jewish people go and pray to Hashem, then Hashem will make bad plagues. And what did Paro say? Did Paro say, oh, wow, I never realized. I will definitely let the Jewish people go. Is that what Paro said? No, I am sorry to tell you, it is not. Paro said, I'm not letting the Jewish people go. I don't know who Hashem is. I'm not letting them go. So then Moshe said, all right, fine. Here we go. And he took the stick. And did Moshe hit the river with the stick? No. He did not. Who hit the river with the stick? Aaron. Excellent, Shalva. Aaron hit the river with the stick. Will you pass me the stick, please, boy? Aaron hit the river with the stick because the river, that's the one, because the river had been good to Moshe when he was a baby. So Aaron hit the river and the river turned into blood. I don't know if you can see, that's my blood puppet. The river turned into blood, and then they all couldn't drink it and couldn't bath in it and couldn't wash dishes. So you guys knew about that already. Thank you very much. That's coming a little bit later. Can I have my frogs one? Because what happened next was Hashem said to them, go take the stick again. Hello, Bachmans. Go take the stick again and smack the river. And it will turn into... snake. It won't turn into anything, but something's going to come out the river. What is going to come out the river? Frogs. Don't worry. It'll just be one or two frogs. No. It will be millions and millions and millions of the slimiest, jumpiest, jumpiest, grossest frogs around. And that is what happened. Aaron gave the river a smack, and frogs came out, and more 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 frogs came out. So many frogs, you actually can't believe. Just imagine a river full of frogs. Jumping out. They went everywhere. Imagine where the frogs went. Do you think the frogs went into... That's a good question. Shalva says to me, wasn't it one frog that came out into the palace, started burging frogs? You know, that is a midrash. A midrash is when the rabbis tell stories about it. The midrash is very important to help us understand the meaning. But when they tell us the midrash, they're not always telling us what actually happened. They're telling us a story about it. So I think what actually happened is that millions and millions of frogs came out of the river, and it was like crazy. Where did those frogs go, Yeladim? I want you to imagine that you were an Egyptian in Egypt. Would the frog go up your nose? No. Yes, little frogs would go up your nose. Would the frog go in your shoes?
Daddy, frogs
yes.
are small enough. They are small as you are.
You get even tiny frogs. I bet they would try to crawl up your nose. Would the frogs go in your shoes? Absolutely. Imagine, Yeladim, you start putting on your shoe and there's something crawling in the shoe. It's a frog. Or imagine when you are going to eat an ice cream. Your mom and dad says to you, here, Yeladim, here's a delicious ice cream for you to enjoy. And you lick the ice cream, but there's something hiding under the ice cream. What is it? It's a frog. You just licked a frog in your ice cream. And then you open the fridge and you pour yourself a glass of water. But as you pour the water, it starts going plop, plop, plop. What's falling into your water? Frogs. And tadpoles, Shalva says, maybe that's even worse. And you start drinking, you're drinking frogs' eggs and tadpoles. And then you say, okay, now I am going to bake some bread. And so you start making bread, you put in the flour, and you put in the water, and what else goes in the bowl of bread, of dough, Yeladim? Frogs! So when you're going to eat your sandwich later on, guess what flavor bread it's going to be? Frog flavor bread. And are frogs so quiet? Are frogs just quiet all the time and don't make any noise? No way! Frogs love to make a sound. Ribbit, ribbit, and frogs can make a big noise. So all the Egyptians were trying to sleep at night. Ribbit, 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 ribbit. Ribbit, ribbit. Every time they were waking up, couldn't get a decent night's sleep. It was driving them crazy. So that's what was happening. It was so bad. I see that the Ginsbergs can't hear me so well. Can the other Yeladim hear me or not? Give me a thumbs up if you can hear me. Okay, everyone else can hear me. I think, what am I seeing? Bachmans, you also can't hear me. I'm doing everything the same as normal. I'm pretty close to the mic. Just going to bring the laptop a little bit closer. Whoop. Okay. Hopefully that'll help. If it doesn't, I'll just keep doing my best. Try to turn your volume up as much as you can. Okay. Great. Thank you. So, what happened next was the Egyptians said to Paro, we can't handle this anymore. This is too crazy. The frogs are driving us mad. All the frog ice creams and the frogs in our shoes and the frog flavored bread and the frogs ribbiting all night, keeping us wide awake. I just can't do it. You have to please get rid of these frogs. So Paro called Moshe and Paro said, Moshe, please, I need you. Okay, great. Bachmans can hear me again. So Ginsberg's, I think it might only be on your side. You can try going on Facebook or logging in with a different device onto the Zoom. Okay, so what happened next was the Egyptians all came to Paro and they said, Paro, we can't take it anymore. So Paro called Moshe and Paro said, Moshe and Aaron, please can I talk to you? And along they came. They weren't really riding on horses. I was just giving an example. Yes, Paro. How can we help you, Paro? Wow, Moshe and Aaron. I've got a bit of a problem. These frogs, it's driving me bananas. You need to get rid of these frogs. Oh, will you let the Jewish people go if we get rid of the frogs? Yeah. I promise I will let the Jewish people go if you get rid of the frogs. Do you think that Paro is going to keep his promise, Yeladim? Give me a thumbs up. Boy. Give me a thumbs up if Paro is going to keep his promise. Give me a thumbs down if he's not going to keep his promise. Correct, Ziegler and Miss Nathan. That is quite right, and Alexis. And yeah, he's not going to keep his promise. But Moshe says, okay, Paro, that's fine. Hashem will take away the frogs anytime you want. Just tell me when. Just tell me when you want those frogs to go away. And Paro said, tomorrow. Why do you think Paro said tomorrow? We'll have to get it later, boy. We can't get it now. Why do you think Paro said tomorrow? Why didn't Paro say today? Because Paro thought, I think they are just trying to trick me. I think maybe the frogs are going away anyway. And they're just saying, oh, make the frogs go away. And then Paro will say, make them go now. But then they were going now anyway. So Paro says, I'm going to trick you back. I'm going to trick you because I'm going to say, make the frogs go away. Tomorrow. Do you think you can do that? Yeah, sure, no problem. We'll make the frogs go away tomorrow. Paro wasn't getting them. Paro wasn't tricking them because all they needed to do was ask Hashem to take away the frogs, and Hashem would take away the frogs. So actually, Paro was the one who was doing something quite silly, because that means he had to have another whole day full of frog-flavored ice cream. Can you see Paro eating his frog-flavored ice cream? Yeah, that's disgusting. That tastes so horrible. Frog flavored ice cream is my worst. But that's because he said tomorrow instead of just saying today. Well, he said tomorrow, and Moshe and Aaron said, okay, bye. And out they went. And Moshe says, Hashem, please, Hashem, will you take the frogs away from the Egyptians? Paro asked us so nicely to take the frogs away, and he says he promises he will let the Jewish people go if we take the frogs away tomorrow. So that is what Hashem did. Hashem said, of course, Moshe, I'll take the frogs away tomorrow. No problem. Next day, frogs finished. No more jumpy aroundy frogs jumping around everything. There were just great big piles of frogs that the Egyptians had to clean up. Yeah. Anyway, they went back and they said, okay, Paro, no more frogs, no more frog-flavored ice cream, no more of that. Now will you let the Jewish people go? Well, I've been thinking about it and I've decided, no, I was just joking when I said I'd let you go. Ha 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 ha, you can't go. Ha ha ha. Oh man, that Paro, he's the worst, isn't he, Yeladim? My boy, you can't play with that anymore, okay? That Paro is the worst. He just keeps saying, oh, I'll let you go. And then he tricks them and he didn't let them go. Well, that's when Moshe said, okay, Paro, but the next plague that Hashem is going to make, we're not even going to tell you what it is. You're just going to suddenly have it, and then you'll see it's not so comfortable. Well, they went away, and Paro sat there thinking, I wonder what the next plague is going to be. Do any of you know what it is, Yeladim? Do you know what the next plague is going to be after frogs? Is it going to be exploding tomatoes? No. Is it going to be books that are really cockroaches? No, those would be gross plagues. But this is a different plague. This is a plague that makes very, very itchy. Lice! Can you see? Oh, so itchy with the lice. What happened was, Moshe and Aaron, here's the lice. Moshe and Aaron went out again, and Aaron took the stick, and this time he hit the stick on the ground of the land of Egypt. As he hit the stick on the ground, do you know what happened? No, Aaron did that. Aaron hit that because the ground also helped Moshe. Oh, good question. How did the ground help Moshe? Once the ground did a favor for Moshe as well. I won't tell you now how that happened. I will tell you another time. But once the ground did a favor for Moshe, and so Moshe did not want to hit the ground with a stick. He said Aaron should do it instead. So Aaron took his stick, smacked the ground, and all the ground suddenly started moving. Because do you know what the sand turned into? Lice. Imagine a whole sand pit full of lice. A full sand pit. Which one? That one. A full sand pit full of sand suddenly becoming a sand pit. Sand pit full of lice. And they suddenly needed to scratch everywhere. The lice were going, biting on their heads, biting on their arms, biting on their bodies, biting on their toes, biting on their ears. But it was driving them crazy all the time.
Threw the sand in the air.
That was later on. That was throwing the ashes in the air for boils. But this was hitting the sand and it turned into lice.
Is it a lice on her head?
That's lice on her head. Can you see? That's why she's scratching.
What's the
Well,
next plague?
do you remember, Yeladim, who these guys are? Who are these guys?
The two magicians.
Those are the Egyptian magicians. And remember, they were always trying to do tricks so that they could say to Pharaoh, the plagues are just magic. It's not really from Hashem. We can also do tricks. And every time they would do tricks. So remember, for blood, they put red powder in water. And they said, we also made the water blood. Well, for frogs, they brought a lunchbox full of frogs. And they threw it out and they said, look, we can also make frogs. Well, for lice, Pharaoh said to them, this lice is crazy. can you guys also make the lice? And they said, we're going to try. And they tried to do a trick to make lice. And they tried again. And they tried again. And they tried again. Yeladim, did they manage to make lice with their tricks? They did not. So do you know what they said to Paro? You're not going to believe this. They said, Paro, it is Hashem making the lice. We cannot make the lice. It is Hashem who makes the lice. So suddenly, remember how Paro started the story? Oh, I don't know about Hashem. I don't really believe in Hashem. Suddenly his own magicians are saying to him, Paro, it is Hashem who is making the lice. We can't do it. So Paro says, maybe they were telling me something true after all. Maybe Hashem really is the boss of the world. Maybe I should let the Jewish people... Nah, just joking. I'm not going to let the Jewish people go. That Paro, guys, I tell you honestly, if he was my child, he would be in big trouble. That's all I'll say with that Paro. My children are not in big trouble. But if Paro was my child, I do not like the way that he behaves, telling the Jewish people he'll let them go and then not letting them go. Well, what happened next was Moshe came back to Paro. Moshe and Aaron came back to Paro, and they said, Paro, we have another warning from Hashem. If you don't let the Jewish people go, another bad plague will happen. Do you know what it is, Yeladim?
What?
It will be wild animals.
Oh, yeah.
Wild animals are going to come through the streets. They are going to go everywhere. And they're going to be so scary. Imagine you hear a knock on your door one morning. Open up the door. Who is it? Roar! It was a lion. That was who was at your door. It was a lion. And then you go out to the shops and you start walking down the street. But then round another corner is coming a bear. And you go closer. And the bear goes closer. And you go closer. And the bear goes closer. And you go closer. And the bear goes closer. And as you go around the corner, roar! It is going to be super scary. So Moshe said, Paro, if you don't let the Jewish people go, that's what's coming to Egypt. Crazy wild animals everywhere. Are you going to let the Jewish people go? And Paro said,
No.
I'll tell you tomorrow.
No, he didn't.
Bye, Yeladim. Thanks for joining us. See you tomorrow.